thank you for joining Wars of the Rosies as we begin with part 1, the initiation into the Ancient Persian Magi and a curious legend of Hiram, Abif, Solomon, and the Queen of Sheba. From the Story of Freemasonry by W.G. Sibley. Publisher Statement. This book has been printed for the entertainment and information of Masons and other persons who desire, in pithy, from such facts of the peculiar origin, curious structure, and unique history of Freemasonry as every intelligent mind should possess. The vital substance of many large volumes have been packed into these pages in extremely readable shape, and it is certainly gratifying to us to be able to put Mr. Sibley's compact, comprehensive, and trustworthy work on the market in such attractive style for the notable low price of 50 cents per copy. We believe the public in general and the Masonic fraternity in particular will applaud our service in doing so. Books on Freemasonry are not all either interesting or inexpensive. This valuable little book is both. So far as we are aware, there is in existence no other publication than this, which, as concisely or for as small a sum, gives so much to the public and the fraternity that is worthy of permanent record and memory. The Story of Freemasonry, the initiation into the Ancient Persian Magi, and a curious legend of Hiram, Abif, Solomon, and the Queen of Sheba. Thousands of years ago, there was a wonderful secret organization in Persia, whose underground quarters and equipment for ceremonial emission of men who sought membership in it were, on so large a scale, and involved so much time, thought, skill, and experience, that compared with it, the most elaborate and costly spectacular productions on the modern stage seem paltry. A man applied for initiation into this society. To test his sincerity and fitness, he was subjected to a period of probation, which continued through several months, and was undergone in utter solitude in the silence and darkness of a subterranean cave. This ordeal had dethroned the reason of more than one who had undertaken it, and was concluded with a fast of 50 days' duration. This is what happened to the candidate when finally admitted to the mysteries. He was led by a grotesque figure to a dangerous precipice, from which he felt his way to the deep interior of a gloomy cavern, where he was confronted by a hideous object which directed him towards a place whence came the howls of ravenous wild beasts. Suddenly seized by unseen hands, he was thrust into the faintly lighted den of animals and instantly attacked by what seemed to be lions, tigers, wolves, and other ferocious beasts, but were in fact members of the society cunningly made up to resemble them. Through this horrible place he had been directed to make his way, and was tossed, pulled, trampled upon, and buffeted before he escaped, covered with bruises and genuine wounds, into another cavern which resounded loud peals of thunder, and through which shot constantly terrifying bursts of flame. If he faded from exhaustion and horror, his senses returned in a comfortable chamber where delightful music and soothing perfumes quieted to some extent his agitation. Then 3 venerable priests approached him. One of them threw a squirming snake into his bosom, and with the loathsome reptile chilling his skin, he was conducted to a door from which issued awful cries of lamentation and despair. There he beheld a dreadful representation of men enduring the torments of hell. This was followed by 7 subterranean journeys to the scenes of as many appalling perils, each likely to disturb the stoutest heart and arouse the most trying emotions. Then, if his strength held out, he entered the Holy of Holies. It was a splendid apartment in which a brilliant sun and beautiful stars moved in a miniature sky, while most ravishing music was heard. In the east, seated upon a golden throne, was a presence before whom the candidate bowed and took the oath of the order. Such was the initiation of the Persian Magi, the society founded by Zoroaster, whose extreme antiquity is certified by both Aristotle and Plato. There were other mysteries in other lands, in the times of antiquity, those of Isis in Egypt, of Kabirite in Phoenicia, of Zabazan in Rome, and the Eleusinian in Greece. And from among them all, Freemasonry alone has emerged as a living influence on modern civilized society and is richest in legend, tradition, and historic fact. One very curious tale is told by an English author and student of antiquities, whose description of the initiation of the Persian Magi has already been rehearsed. It is a legend of Hiram Abif, the master architect and engineer at the building of King Solomon's temple, who, according to tradition, assisted Solomon in founding the Masonic order. When the Queen of Sheba visited Solomon, that prince of riches and glory, who had an appreciative eye for beauty in women as well as in architecture, fell a victim to the seductive charms of his visitor and sought her hand in marriage. After consideration, she accepted the proposal. Later, when repeated requests had secured the presentation to her of Hiram Abif, whose work on the temple was a revelation to her of extraordinary ability, the son of the tribe of Naphtali cast a look into her eyes which drew her heart to him. Solomon, wise in his ways of women, instantly became aware of the impression made on the queen by his great architect and was stirred by jealousy. Chagrined, he set about to destroy his friend. The queen met Hiram in a grove near Jerusalem when none but her maidens were present. He was silent and thoughtful, but soon declared his love. She threw herself into his arms, their lips met, and she rapturously responded to his words of affection. Realizing that Solomon would not approve their mating, they planned to leave Jerusalem at different times and meet in Arabia. Meanwhile, Solomon had hinted to certain workmen on the temple that Hiram's death would be pleasing to him, and gave them an excuse for quarreling with him. As a consequence, Hiram was slain while seeking exit from the temple. This legend is so at variance with Masonic tradition and history that it cannot be accepted, although it gives additional interest to a biblical character whose memory will live as long as Freemasonry exists among men. It is printed as a curious specimen chosen from among many apocryphal tales which found their way into print in Europe during the 18th century and were widely circulated among readers of books. Thank you for watching, and please don't forget to share, like, subscribe, and comment. And if you can, please consider donating to Wars of the Rosies. Links to PayPal and Patreon are in the description. Thank you so very much.